Full of enchanting landscapes, hidden history and distinctive beauty, Wales is a place where history and nature intertwine to create some of my favourite hidden gems in the UK. From its mystical coastlines to its industrial relics, join us as we unveil the stories and secrets of these remarkable sites. Now first up, we are heading to Tenby, and I know it may seem like a strange place to start a hidden gems video in this iconic town, but you may not be aware that here you can get on a boat, head 3 miles out to sea and get transported to one of the most serene places I have ever been. As we walk the 3.5-mile circular route around the island, we pass the Abbey, home to around 40 monks who live permanently here on the island, who actually make perfume, shortbread and chocolate, which you can actually buy in the store here as well. We then walk into the untouched wilderness in search of the old priory. Unoccupied since the dissolution of the monasteries in 1539, these are some of the most interesting buildings on the island. I can't quite explain the feeling that you get when you set foot on this island, but just picture being on a calm and silent beach with smooth, untouched sand as far as you can see, and that is Caldey Island. And speaking of untouched beaches, we're actually sticking around the Pembrokeshire Coast, because this is a bay called Church Dawes Cove, home to a pretty impressive rock formation, I'm sure you'll agree. But if you head over to the rocks on your right hand side, you will see a small opening. Unfortunately, the tide had other plans that day, but we were so intrigued that we came back again. And this time, we were granted access to a completely hidden bay.
Look at this, beautiful.
Our own little beach.
What more do you want?
Inaccessible any other way. A secluded paradise with cliffs that have been sculpted into breathtaking formations. I actually found the remains of an old staircase that used to lead down to this bay many years ago, but it has long been closed, causing this beach to be completely forgotten and lost to time. Okay, it's time to head north now into Snowdonia, a place known for its natural beauty, but it hides the remains of a bustling industry. Located in the hills above Parys is the Dinorwic Slate Quarry, and these vast ruins were once the world's second largest slate quarry. They've been seemingly frozen in time today, and we can see the old houses where many of the miners would have lived, and is now the loving home for many goats in the area. You can also see the old pulley systems still completely intact, which we climbed in order to get to the top, with this point giving us mind-blowing views over Llanddwyn, one of Wales's largest lakes, and the mountains of Snowdonia in the distance. Now, of course, the Pembrokeshire Coast and Snowdonia, they're both such iconic parts of Wales, but part of Wales that often gets overlooked is the central portion, so we're going to head there now to see what hidden gems we can conjure up. The first is the Elan Valley. Built back in the early 1900s, these dams still supply water to Birmingham to this day. And there are so many secrets to be discovered here, whether exploring the monolithic 1,000-foot long Llanddwyn Dam or the overgrown remains of the Llanddwyn Dam, which was used to test out the bouncing bomb during the Second World War, as it had a design very similar to the German dams at the time. So yes, this dam was an unfortunate test subject, but also an unsung hero during the Second World War. Now for our next stop, we have to time it quite well, because in order to get there, we actually have to drive through a military base, which is only open on certain days of the week. But it's worth the extra effort, because this is the Green Bridge of Wales. And at certain times of year, it's also home to hundreds, if not thousands, of guillemots, also known as Elegugs, which explains why just a 5-minute walk up the coast from here, you can get to the Elegug stacks. And if that wasn't enough, another 5-minute walk up the coast from here, and you better watch your step, because this is the Cauldron. To think that all of these are completely natural formations is absolutely mind-blowing, and it really puts the power of nature into perspective. Now finally, let's head to the beautiful natural paradise of Anglesey, although you wouldn't really think it. I think you might think that we've just stepped foot on Mars, to be honest, but no, we are still in Anglesey. This otherworldly landscape is actually the result of centuries of copper mining. In the 1760s, an enormous copper strain was discovered here, and with the rising demand from the British Navy for improved ships with copper plating instead of just wood, so that they could beat out their Spanish and French counterparts at the time, there was a fortune to be made here. Now let's stay on Anglesey for the next spot. This one is actually a very small tidal island off the coast of Anglesey. So it's only accessible when the tide is at its lowest, unless you want to get wet feet. And this island has a very similar vibe to Caldey Island, especially once you're at the very tip. One of the most peaceful places we've ever discovered in Wales. This is actually the final resting place of Saint Dwynwen, who is the Welsh patron saint of lovers. Think of her as Wales's version of Saint Valentine. Now I think it is definitely time for a castle now, because we haven't had any and we are in Wales after all. So this is Laugharne Castle, a romantic ruin that inspired none more famous than the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas.
Dylan. Dylan Thomas.
He fell in love with this entire town and the estuary here, and he lived here on and off for nearly 20 years, so much so that his writing shed is almost directly below the castle, where he wrote some of his most famous works. Back up to Anglesey again now, actually, because I just remembered something very special. Near the tip of Anglesey, in the middle of seemingly nowhere, we found this narrow footpath. And after following it for around 15 to 20 minutes, we started descending down into this bay. But then, as we turned a corner, we saw this. The remains of these brickworks, where fire bricks that were once essential to the steel industry were produced, is now just an abandoned, crumbling ruin. This site's iconic beehive kilns and rusting machinery are still in place, and I think there's something about the stark contrast between this and the natural beauty of the Anglesey coastline is truly special. Unfortunately, I don't think it gets much care and attention put towards it, so it's not very preserved. It's kind of crumbling away. In fact, this footage was taken a few years ago now, and this wall seemed like it was on its last legs. If you have visited more recently than me, please let me know if this wall is still standing, because it honestly looked like it was about to go any day. But I hope that this does get the protection that it deserves, because it's a truly remarkable place and a very unique place as well. But speaking of places that are getting recognised and preserved, let's head to another mine now to finish off the video, and this one is right in the centre of Wales, and it's known as the Cwmwystwyth mines. Now I don't know if it's just me that has an obsession with these old abandoned mines, but I just can't get enough of exploring all of the lost relics of this age. The mine is one of the most hidden places I think I've found in Wales, but I actually first visited these mines when I was maybe around 6 years old, and they were in much better condition than they were today. The buildings have really decayed over the years. But a few years ago it was recognised, and now it is being preserved, which is really great to see. It finally has a little bit of help to withstand the clutches of time. And there you have it. I really do think these places offer a truly amazing and unique glimpse into Wales's history. And so, yeah, I just wanted to bring a little bit more attention to them because their stories are just spectacular. If you did enjoy this one, please do consider subscribing, as we have many videos from all over Wales, England, and Europe and more. Pretty much everything. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then I suppose I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.